We've talked a lot this term about the importance and influence of European art. And in the last chapter, we looked at developments in modern art in the United States. In this chapter, we turn our focus south of there to the art of what is often called Latin America. As the textbook points out, this phrase is somewhat problematic, particularly as it refers to this group of countries by the Latin-derived languages of their European invaders, Spanish, Portuguese, and French. It also lumps together vast geographical areas, from Mesoamerica and the Caribbean to the southern tip of South America. Nonetheless, there are common themes and traditions shared via vast trade networks before the arrival of Europeans and the diasporas afterward. The art we'll study in this chapter has in common a focus on indigenous traditions shaped by interaction with often violent colonizing powers, as well as more egalitarian artistic exchange. We'll start out by looking at the movement of Mexican muralism and the three artists known as Los Tres Grandes. We'll look next at the artist who today may be the most famous Mexican artist, Frida Kahlo, and her unique, often surreal self-portraits, as well as the Cuban surrealist Wilfredo Lam. We'll wrap up with a look at abstraction in South America, as well as international style architecture in Mexico and Brazil. By the time we've finished this chapter's videos and reading, you should be able to identify major artists working in Latin America during the early 20th century, to discuss the historical and cultural contexts of the artworks they created, and to compare overlaps, differences, and influences between Latin American, North American, and European art. Let's start with the movement called Mexican muralism and the three artists collectively known as Los Tres Grandes: David Alfaro Siqueiros, Diego Rivera, and José Clemente Orozco. These artists are linked by their medium, subject matter, and political interests, and of course, that they were Mexican and produced murals. The word mural comes from the Latin murus, which means wall, and a mural is an artwork on or forming a wall. One popular mural medium, which these three artists used, is buon fresco, or true fresco. In a true fresco, pigments are applied directly to wet lime plaster, chemically bonding to it and becoming part of the wall. The technique produces vibrant, long-lasting artworks, but it is technically demanding and physically challenging. There is a limited amount of time during which the plaster is just right, so an artist has to work quickly and precisely. There's no erasing mistakes. They have to be chiseled away after they dry and new plaster applied. Teams of trained workers are critical to helping the artist prepare the surface and mix colors. All three of Los Tres Grandes are also from Mexico, a country that beginning in 1910, a date celebrated in this mural by Siqueiros, and lasting until roughly 1920, underwent a revolution that brought about great change in the country's government and culture. The new government commissioned artists to both celebrate and educate the people, and to reinforce an idea of shared identity and history. Los Tres Grandes celebrated the power of the people, including the historically oppressed workers and farmers and Indigenous non-European heroes. For most of 2020, the Whitney Museum of American Art hosted an exhibition called Vida Americana, Mexican Muralists Remake American Art, 1925 to 1945. The show juxtaposed works of these Mexican artists with US artists to demonstrate the impact of the former, particularly their focus on social issues and protest against injustice. Jackson Pollock, an artist you may not know yet, but soon will when we study abstract expressionism, was among the US artists deeply influenced by the work of the Mexican muralists. Take a moment to watch the Whitney's introductory video, which is available at the Vida Americana exhibition page and captioned in English at the link I've provided. In your journal, write what you learned as you watched the video and read about the show.